If you've ever seen the conversion summary table inside Google Ads full of actions that don't really have anything to do with getting you more inquiries, or aren't exactly sure what you should have here to focus fully on the results that you're trying to achieve, in today's video we're going to walk you through exactly which conversion actions you should track for your Google Ads campaign. For example, the 99 form submissions we have here, 108 phone calls from the ad itself, and 55 phone calls from the landing page. And the reason why we want to make sure these are showing up here and are also being reflected inside the dashboard as we have here is that the more we're tracking the actions that we want the user to take, for example, fill out a form or a call from our ad, the more Google can adjust over time to continue getting us more of those actions, especially when using automated bidding as you do later on inside your campaign lifecycle. And now, what conversion actions actually are essentially just the actions that you want the user to take post click. So, as a service based business, that could be somebody calling you from your landing page, filling out a form on your landing page, or calling directly from the ad itself. So, this can be in the form of a call asset if you're running responsive search ads, or a call from the ad itself if you're running call only ads. And one thing I noticed as well with a lot of the companies I'm working with is that when I first took a look at their Google Ads account, the conversion summary table here would be full of random actions like visits to specific pages on their website, for example, their contact page. But just because someone goes to the contact page of your website doesn't mean they become a lead. And what this did was it led to a lot of inaccurate data being tracked because at first glance it seemed like they were getting so many leads at a very low cost per conversion. But in reality, what was showing up as conversions were simply just clicks to certain parts of their website. And so, what we want to make sure we do is only track specific actions as conversions that are relevant to what you want the user to do. And in 99% of cases, as a service based business, that's going to be form submissions and phone calls. So, the first thing you want to do is define what a conversion is for you. And if unsure, just go with form submissions and phone calls. And you want to make sure that you set these as primary actions, meaning that Google will actually track them as conversions when you go into the dashboard here, because if they're set as secondary or not set as account default goals, then they'll show up here inside the conversion summary table, but they won't show back in the actual dashboard as a conversion for your campaign. And now this differs from secondary conversion actions, which we actually only set up recently as a test for this campaign. But they're conversion actions you can use to collect data on different actions where you can see how many of those actions occurred here, but they're not actually counted as conversions for your Google Ads campaign. And going back to the example at the beginning of visits to the contact page on the website, that would be an example of a conversion action you could set as secondary if you simply want to see how many people visit that page without counting it as a lead for your Google Ads campaign. So I'd recommend using your primary conversion actions for actual leads and secondary conversion actions for any other data that you want to track. And setting up your conversion actions properly from the very beginning will allow you to fully benefit from automated or smart bidding strategies like we have in this case with Target CPA. And if you're using a strategy, for example, maximize clicks or manual CPC early on to gather as much relevant conversion data as possible, once you actually have that data then and it's being tracked here as a conversion inside the dashboard, you'll actually be able to benefit from that data when you make the switch across to smart bidding. Now, I hope this video helped and gave you some clarity on how conversion actions actually work inside of Google Ads and which conversion actions you should set for your own campaigns. Now, if you do have any questions about anything we mentioned inside this video or anything else related to Google Ads as a whole, feel free to leave a comment down below. Or if you are a service-based business looking to have all of this done and implemented for you, feel free to have a look at the link in the description. And if you are running campaigns yourself or for other businesses, feel free to have a look at the playlist that should appear on the screen now that covers each individual step in setting up a Google Ads campaign.